statement. I'll take questions.
Want to know this week? I thought the guys very, very hard for each other, and they never quit believing in each other, and never quit believing in what was going on out there. And it wasn't a perfect game. That's kind of how our team is, and who our program is. You know, I don't expect these guys to play perfect. I just expect them to play as hard as they did, and they did that. So, did a lot of good things in situational football. Obviously, with the exception of the red zone. But we did, you know, some other great things in situational football that led to a great team win. So, questions?
Have you ever, first of all, do you play the lottery ever?
No.
If you do, you should play two. Have you ever been a part of a game where there's two safeties, a blocked extra point for a two-pointer, and then a two-point conversion? That's insane.
No, I can't say I've ever been a part of that. You know what? I shouldn't say that, because who knows? Maybe when I was younger, you know, when I was there, a lot of stuff weird happens in Little League, but since I've been coaching football and playing that I can remember, no, not even close. I mean, it was one of the weirdest things I've ever experienced. That's what I mean by situational football. If you go back and look at it, in our coming out situations when we're backed up, we did a nice job and we moved the ball, and you know, our goal there is obviously always to score, but you got to get 2 first downs and flip the field position. Our defense's goal is to create a score, and they created 2 scores right there. You know, special teams did some great work. You know, Omarion James recovering the one and then downing the other one. I mean, that's 4 points right there. They decided to not allow him to be a factor in the game in kickoff return by just kicking it all over the field and doing that sort of things, which shows an inordinate amount of respect for our kickoff return team. But you know, he found a way to make an impact otherwise.
After the Lamarian, when he recovered the muff punt and then the fumble after that, I was kind of confused as to what was going on. You were heated with the refs. What was going on there?
Yeah, I was too heated. That was dumb on my part. I would have lost my mind on one of our players if they acted as childish and stupid as I did. So I can't. That's I can't do that. So, but yes, I was upset. I didn't necessarily feel like it was officiated correctly, and looking back on it, I think I was probably wrong. And I'm willing to admit when I'm wrong, and I think this officiating crew today did an excellent job, because both me and Coach Taggart lost our cool at one point, and they both dealt with it, and I know that both, you know, I know I apologized to the official. I did. I lost my cool on, and I'm sure Coach Taggart probably did the same.
Looking at, you know, before the bye week to now winning 3 straight after the bye week, can you put your finger on something specific this team that's been a huge difference?
Well, we've gone 1-0 3 weeks in a row, I guess. I don't think it's necessarily anything different. I just felt like we kept getting better every week, and the bye week allowed us to get better without the distraction of results. And instead of guys begging for something, begging for an out or begging for time off or something like that, instead our guys, they wanted more work and they wanted to get better. And I thought that was a huge part of it. I thought we had a good plan during that bye week in order to get our guys better, but also get them healthy. I think guys like Dwight Galt and Justin Walker have done an unbelievable job of keeping our team healthy all year. And then our guys have done an excellent job of doing the things that they need to do, getting enough sleep, getting in the hot and cold tubs, icing, taking care of their bodies, and it's allowed us to play some of our best ball here later in the season.
Are you seeing a level, during the 5-game losing streak, these guys didn't give up, so that shows amazing poise on their part. Are you also seeing a level of poise and maturity just hanging in there, knowing that they can win?
Well, I think they always knew they could win. Even when the results weren't necessarily telling us that, they knew that they could. And they think one thing that you guys know, I'm a very honest person, probably to a fault sometimes. I'm sure someday that'll get me in trouble, but until that day, I'll continue to do that, and probably after it too. But I'm honest with them all the time, and because I'm honest with them all the time, they tend to believe me, and then when I'm wrong, they tend to forgive me when I'm wrong, and they kind of see where I'm coming from, and so they believed the whole time. You know, today I knew a couple things were going to be important, and one of them was the middle eight, and last four of the first half, first four of the second half. You know, we go win that one 7-0, and that turns into a huge turning point in the game. The three factors that I thought would be important in the game, I don't know the outcome of the other ones necessarily, but I would imagine based on watching the game that we probably won those two.
Coach, you talked about earning the win and going 1-0 each week throughout the entire season, even when the results weren't really giving you guys the best outcome that you wanted. You guys really stuck to that message, and everything seems to start to click for you guys late in the year. What do you attribute to that? What is the team learning about themselves during this streak?
Well, they're learning that some of the stuff that I say, while incredibly cliche, and I'm sure gets on your guys' nerve on a daily, maybe hourly basis, for them, it's really, they believe in it. And they believe in the 1-0. And they believe in earning the right to win. And they believe that practice genuinely allows you to play better. And they believe that how you do anything is how you do everything. And if we're not performing well in the classroom because we're taking things for granted, that spills onto the football field. And I think that's something they believe all those sort of things, and it's kind of cool because now they repeat them back to me. You know, they say them to me sometimes. You know, and so I think that's been a really awesome thing to witness, is to watch the culture that a lot of people, including the players, have worked so hard to build. You see it start to show up and coalesce a little bit, and that's been nice.
What was the band warning thing? And when you looked over at the band, it was almost like when the kids are acting up in the back seat and you do the rear view mirror so that you can see the eye contact. And how do you communicate to the band to not do that?
Yeah, well, kids don't act up in the back seat anymore because they all have iPads and Nintendo Switches, so they don't even communicate with each other. So sometimes you're looking back there just to make sure they're still there, that you didn't forget one of them at the last rest stop. But the band, yeah, so there's a new rule over the last 2 years that they are not supposed to play when the offense breaks the huddle, which is one of the most arcane rules in the history of football, because no one huddles anymore. So when is the band supposed to determine when, and I quote, the snap is imminent, and when are they supposed to not know that? I mean, if I knew when the snap was imminent all the time, I don't know, it'd make it a lot easier. We probably wouldn't have defensive linemen jumping off sides. So I don't really understand how our band director is supposed to know when he can play and when he can't play. No one appreciates our band more than I do. I mean, that's college football. Was I going to be upset if we got a 15-yard penalty on the band? I undoubtedly would have been. But I need and want them to create energy in that stadium, and they do a great job of that.
Ricky, can you speak to the difference in sort of the vibe around the program now than there was a month or 2 months ago? Just the fans, how festive they were, just the general feelings among players, coaches, and.
It's funny you say that. I think that it's very much, the vibe is very much more probably of an external factor than it is an internal factor. And I love our fans, and we have a very, I don't know how we built this thing, but it's loud. It's a loud stadium, you know, and I want that thing full. The next time we play at home, you know, everybody's bellies should be nice and full, and everybody should be rip-roaring and ready to go. next time we play at home, and I want it loud as we can get, because, there's still some room. There's still some seats available, and but it was still really, really loud. You could see them. Their quarterback had to go up the line of scrimmage, and I mean, it reminded me of some other places I've been where the quarterback was having difficulties communicating what he wanted to communicate. So that was awesome. But internally, the vibe has been the same. I talk to our coaches all the time. We can't accept in victory what we wouldn't accept in defeat. And so the guys know that. So they're still going to be held accountable for mistakes they made. They're still going to, just like they were going to be told when they made great plays when we lost. So the vibe has been, and this is on purpose, it's been, hopefully to these guys, it's been very consistent the whole year, and that's what I'm looking to get. But obviously, I'd be naive to think that winning doesn't make it a little bit better when you get ripped for doing something wrong, because you realize that helps you win, and those sort of things. So want to just keep being consistent with our players, and I want them to keep being consistent with me. So that's our goal.
Is Mac in the red zone, using him in the red zone, is that something you're going to keep?
Yeah, well, I mean, DJ's made some great plays, and today we didn't execute, but not to his fault. I actually thought he played very well. I thought he really played very well. He fixed a couple things that went wrong, and did a nice job in there. So we need to keep finding creative ways, because he is a good player for us on a number of different ways. So we need to keep finding creative ways to make him make an impact. I thought that both of those guys handled that very well. Hayden coming in and out and getting in there and doing some things, and Hayden made some big time throws at the end of that game. That last touchdown drive, there were some. Those are two of the better throws you're going to see, and two of the better plays by those wideouts.
I was curious about the decision of DJ in those red zone situations as well. Was it more because he's more of a versatile tool to have in the red zone with his running ability as well, or what went into the decision to use him?
Yeah, well, the field's condensed down there, right? They don't have to play anything of depth. They're playing the 53 and a third across, but they don't have to play anything more than, depending on where you are, 25 to 20 yards deep. So obviously they're able to get more people in the run game, and in that you need to be able to create some run game advantages through reading guys and things like that. Hayden's a fine athlete and can do those sort of things, and DJ's a little bit of a better runner. So he gives us a chance to do some of those things, but obviously DJ can throw the ball as well, and we've got a bunch of other things in that package that are ready to go that we've been practicing now for a few weeks. So ready to, continue to just look for opportunities to break it out. It might be midfield, it might be red zone, it might be 1st and 10. Who knows? So we do have some great plays out of that we can continue to run.
Sorry if this has been covered, but in your experience with strange games and different ways of scoring, how does tonight stack up in terms of this being unusual?
Yeah, no, we are. No, I'm just kidding. No, I would never do that to you. No, it's the most unusual game I've ever been to. I mean, if you had, don't get on me, NCAA. I was a human once. You used to have those things where you'd play those brackets, and I still remember. It's, in all honesty, it's my earliest football memory when the Broncos were playing the Redskins in the Super Bowl, and everyone has those. They pick their squares and all those sort of things. There were some numbers on those squares that you would have pulled out of there and you would have been ticked off. You know what I mean? And you would have hit a couple times tonight. So there were some unusual things going on right there, and so it was a very interesting game, and I just thought that it's one of those games that you try as a coach to put your kids in as many situations as possible to replicate game-like scenarios, and under no circumstance would I ever be able to replicate some of those. So it was a wild deal, but what they did do is they kept responding each and every time, and that shows a resilient and tough football team.
Another game with not many penalties on for your team. I don't know what the number is, but it didn't seem like a lot, and that seems to be a trend. What do you attribute that to?
Attribute to us playing good fundamental football and playing fast and you know, we're not trying to do a bunch of unusual things. I think the thing we've really done is we have eliminated the post and pre-snap penalties and the post-snap penalties, and that's been a big factor in the game. You know, I know we jumped off sides one time today, but we had some other ones where we, you know, they tried to get us to and we didn't. And we got them to jump off sides in some critical situations. So those pre-snap and post-snap penalties are the ones I've been harping on to eliminate, and we've done a nice job of doing that. We got the one taunting penalty, which is we've got to get that corrected, and that corner of that end zone. I guess it's the they like calling it down there, so we got to stop doing that there. Can't no more of that.
Anything else for Coach?
Yeah, Coach, on defense, we're doing pretty good up front, but how do we improve in the secondary, moving forward, Trey Hawkins at corner?
Yeah, I actually thought Trey played really well. The problem with playing corner is it's a little bit like offensive line. Is that you only notice them when it's something like that. You know, no one notices the other times when the corner felt like he couldn't throw the ball at all to that guy because he was smothered. Right, so, you know, the one time, I mean, it got punted up there, and Trey was waiting for it, and he shouldn't have, and he should have made a play on the ball. Boom. The other time, I would ask that guy to try to make that same catch, the one where he scored a touchdown. He can try to make that same catch 100 more times. He might make it 5. That was an incredible play by that young man. Incredible. Trey couldn't have been in a better spot. I don't know where he would have been in a better spot. So, I mean, you know, I again, he's playing good football for us. So is Roger. And those guys are doing a nice job. And our secondary, you know, that's why one of the reasons why we're playing so well up front is because there's a couple of those sacks now, or coverage sacks, where, you know, you got to make any sack, really. You've got to make the quarterback get to his second, sometimes third read if you're going to get to the quarterback, and we're doing a nice job of that.
Coach,
Go ahead.
you just said playing corner is kind of like playing offensive line, whereas you don't really recognize the player until something bad happens. You guys dominated on the ground today. Blake Watson had 168 yards. How do you feel your offensive line played in that aspect?
I thought our offensive line played excellent, just like they really have all year. I think we have one of the most underrated offensive lines in the country. I got asked this week by a different media member about who I thought some of the best offensive lines in the country were, and I said ours. And I honestly believe that. I think we've got some guys that are playing some great football, and they've been playing great football for a while. One of the reasons why is because, you know, as an offensive lineman, and people don't recognize this, they think you just have to be tough. You've got to be smart. You've got to be smart. And we've got some smart guys who study a lot of tape, and they have made incredible adjustments. And been really proud of them for that.
Ricky, your defense has really played well as of late, 308 yards. And this hasn't always been known as a defensive school.
Yeah. We've got great coaches. We've got great players. I think they are benefiting. Doesn't always look that way, but they're benefiting from the offense holding the ball now as well. I mean, we were doing some good things there. Defense saw 55 plays, which is going to make you pretty happy as a defensive coach, because when you go to grade that tape, it doesn't take very long, you know. So that's a nice little benefit. You get to spend an extra couple minutes with your family because you didn't play so many plays. You stopped them on third down and did some other great things. And I think that the thing that I've been the most happy with on our defense is, you know, we've had some guys dinged up, we've had some guys nicked up, we've had some guys like that, and what they have done over and over and over again is a new guy has popped in there and he has played extremely well. And that's a testament to development, it's a testament to coaching, but it's also a testament to those guys taking mental reps and being ready for when they're called on.
One more question. Go ahead, Dave.
you talked recently about not talking about goals. What does it say about your players that they don't need that kind of thing to play for? Like, from the outside looking in, Old Dominion's still playing for something. Your guys are playing for something anyway, right?
Our guys are playing to feel the way we did in that locker room each and every week. I mean, and that's, if you're playing for anything other than that, it's real hard to sustain it, because what if what you're playing for goes away, you know? And, you know, our guys are playing for each other. Our guys are playing to feel that in that locker room each and every week, and I think that that's the thing that shows that we have a great culture, a great family atmosphere, and a bunch of guys who are playing for each other. And that's what makes me so proud of them, and that's what makes them fun to hang around with, to be honest with you.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
All right, thanks, guys.
Players in. Linebacker Jordan Young, 10 tackles. Running back Blake Watson, 164 yards, 4 shy of his career high. Hayden Wolf, 20 of 32, 289. Brian Smith, why don't you start with a question for you guys?
The difference between a 5-game losing streak and now a 3-game winning streak, how do you try to temper it? As Coach mentioned, the fact of feeling good in a locker room. What's the mood right now, this team right now, that everything would seem to go wrong when things were going wrong are now going right?
Right. I'll say the same thing that I said the week of the Louisiana Tech game. You know, the morale of our team is high. You know, it's always been high, and the results we didn't change our morale based on the results. You know, we're focused on going 1-0 every week. You know, and so when we were losing, we were still focused on, you know, bouncing back the next week, getting a win. You know, getting over that hump. And you know, I talked about that Louisiana Tech week, that, you know, we just needed to get over that hump. And, you know, week to week, that was kind of going to be our goal, you know, just go 1-0 that week. And I think we've done a nice job of that the past couple weeks.
You guys?
I mean, just to go off of what Hayden said, we never lost any morale. We never lost any hope. We always had each other's back, and we knew we could come together and pull out some wins.
Yeah, I just really feel like it's a brotherhood, man. And just morale, like everybody else said, never really changed. It's just when everybody does their job and just the hard work's finally paying off, and we're not really beating ourselves. We're just going out there and executing, and just everybody's doing their part, and it just shows of what we can be as a team, just when we're all on the same page and all doing what we're supposed to be doing.
Have you guys ever been in a game where there was 2 safeties, a 2-point conversion, and then an extra point return for 2? The score was 4-3 at one point.
I never have, and I said probably midway through the second quarter when the score was 4-3, we were winning. I said, "Are we playing hockey right now?" I was like, "What's going on?" You know, it was definitely a weird game, especially in the first half. You know, both teams kind of got off to a weird start, but you know, as we settled in, it kind of started to take off for us a little bit. So yeah, it was definitely a weird start to the game.
Yeah, I've never seen it with the 2 safeties and then the blocked field goal for a touchdown. I mean, I've never seen that many times you get 2 points. But
It's just I had a moment with JoJo Heaton on the sideline where he came up, and he was just like, this is really just something that you really only see at ODU. It's just something just crazy that always happens during our games, and I'm just happy that we were on the good side of most of those plays.
All the 2-point plays that happened tonight, you guys have a favorite?
I like the field goal block. 'Cause, I mean, you brought that one all the way back. That one was fun.
I would probably say the field goal block as well, just because that's something we really worked on this week, and that was something that we felt like we could do in their scheme. And we got through on some of their other kicks and just didn't make the block. So just to finally see it happen, everybody do their job, and sipping the ball out and somebody catching it, and everybody doing their block and just doing their job and making sure RT could get to the end zone was just awesome to see.
I would say the one at the end of the game was my favorite, you know, just because it kind of put, you know, icing on the cake. And obviously, I got to throw it to Ali. Ali made a nice pitch to Blake, and Blake, you know, did what Blake does and got in the end zone. So that was my favorite one.
Blake and Hayden, efficient offense, chunk plays for sure, but you guys weren't able to finish off in the red zone as what you probably would have liked. How do you correct that?
You know, that's going to be it's been a big emphasis for us all year. And, you know, I'm looking forward to, you know, starting tomorrow at practice. You know, how can we go 1-0 in the red zone? How can we, you know, punch this ball in the end zone? Because we need to start scoring. And, you know, field goals are great. Nick Rice, he's the man. But, you know, we got to start putting the ball in the end zone. So this week of practice is going to be, you know, very important for that. And, I can promise that we're going to do everything we can to work hard at practice this week.
Aiden, what's the chain for?
So the chain is, it's kind of hard to explain. So our offensive coordinator, Coach Campbell, his wife makes us, a trophy every week. And so this week, it's always some type of necklace or chain. So it's the chain, and it was like a gold owl that said beat FAU on it. And the owl, it usually never makes it after the game because we hang it up right inside the locker room, so it always gets broken. But it's kind of like a little memento. We always piece it back together, tape it back together, and keep it in the offensive line room. So the previous 2 weeks, those mementos are just still in the O-line room now. We're gonna find who dismantled the owl and put it back together and hang that one up this week.
Nobody around here wants to talk about bowl eligibility and playing for that. How self-motivated is this team without having to have that out front?
I would say very, like you guys have heard me say this, 10, 15 times that, our culture revolves around the idea of 1-0. We had this conversation last time that we're not worried about anything but, the play, the second, whatever we're living in, that's what we're focused on, doing our job on every play, in every game. We're not looking past that. So, that's really all I can say about that.
To any of you, does the 5-game losing streak make you better appreciate the 3-game winning streak?
I mean, for me, I've been here a while and just been through some tough times, like we said before, and just being my last year, I just appreciate every moment that I have with the guys on the team. Win, lose, or draw, that's how I've gone into the season, and then just the wins on top of it have just been icing on the cake, and I just appreciate every moment of it, every second of it, and just don't really overlook anything and just live in the moment.
Yeah, the goal for Jordan, I mean, you really just got to appreciate it all because, you never know when it's going to be your last down or the last time you're going to put on the pass. So, I mean, win, lose, or draw, you always got to appreciate it. You always got to love the game.
Hey, Blake, so what was your motivation? You dealt with some injuries early during the season. But what was your motivation coming back so strong and really having the run game like you're doing right now?
It's got to be my roommates, Jordan and JoJo. I mean, it's their last year. I mean, I want them to have a winning season. I want them to go to a bowl game. I want them to go off with the win. I mean, like, I'm doing it for them for real.
Hey, Jordan, when you're 1-6 your last year, are you thinking, here we go again, or did you believe?
No, I never got to that point. I never felt like this was anything like the 2019 season. I never felt like the team, anybody in the locker room really had that feeling. I never had that feeling to the season. It's just I knew we were so close in certain games, and we were so close to putting everything together that if we just kept doing our job, kept practicing, kept working on it, that it was finally going to come together. And that's really what we're seeing, and the results are paying off from that, from all the hard work in the summer, spring, last season when we did play. It's all starting to pay off, and I just know I wanted to help Coach Ronnie establish his culture and just kind of push it forward throughout my last year.
Because it could go either way. I mean, you can go. I mean, and to be sitting at 4-6 and with the possibility of what could be on the horizon. I know it's 1-0. I don't want to talk about it, but a bowl game could be there, and there's 2 winnable games. I mean, what a way to wrap it up, your career.
So I'm just trying to take it one step at a time because it really flies by fast, and my 5 years playing have been it's been all over the place, and I love the guys I'm in the locker room with right now, and I wouldn't trade for anywhere else. I wouldn't have went to transfer to go anywhere else. I'm glad the decision I made to stay here and just finish off what I started and be with my brothers, and just I'm happy.
You're just a feeling to be a part of a defense that's so dominant, which has not normally been the case at Old Dominion throughout its history.
Yeah, it's just, like I said, changing the culture. That's what Coach Ronnie and his staff wanted to do when they came in, and Coach Seiler has honed in on all of his rules, and just he's very detail-oriented and really loves his defense and really loves the guys that we have on the defensive side of the ball, and make sure that everybody's in the right spot, right, doing their job. He just works so hard at it that we go out there and want to execute his schemes to the max, just because we know that he's instilled so much in us and put so much time and effort into us that we want to repay him and just go out there and put out some results of a good defense.
Jordan, during this 3-game win streak, the defense has been playing lights out. What do you think has clicked for you guys on that side of the ball to have you playing so well during this win streak?
I just felt like we got a couple guys back, and then really just everybody doing their job, executing their assignment, just getting a little bit more experience throughout the season, and really just trusting in themselves. The coaches have so much trust, and they really believe in us that if you make a mistake here and there, they don't really just – you're going to get ripped, but at the same time, they don't just, like, linger on that the whole game. They want you to just move on to the next play, and our mentality is one of those. So it's Coach Tyler always says it's not about winning the battle, it's about winning the war. So if you make a bad play here and there, it's all right. Go to the next down, go play your hardest, and then we'll end up with the W.
Isaiah Page, he had a fumble in the first half, and he's had a tough go lately. I don't know anyone to speak to this. How did it make you feel that he scored his first career touchdown? And what do you think about that moment for him?
I was really happy for him. We've talked about this moment. I told him this week at practice that I had a feeling he was going to get in the end zone this week, and he did. He made that mistake early in the first quarter, and I told him, keep your head up, man. I'm going to keep coming back to you. He's a playmaker. He's a great person, great teammate, and I'm happy for him. He deserved it.
Yeah, we trust Zay. Zay's he's a great guy. We all have each other's back, and we don't dwell on that. He's gonna keep working hard, and we trust Zay.
Anything else with players?
I got one more. Coach said the feeling you get in the locker room after a game like tonight is enough to drive you guys and motivate you. How good is that feeling?
It's awesome. It's one of the best feelings, honestly, in the whole world. Obviously, we have bigger goals and aspirations, but by achieving our goal of going 1-0, like we've said multiple times up here, it feels awesome. It really does.
It's after going through loss after loss, you go in there, you really appreciate the wins a lot more, and it means a lot more to the coaches, the players, everybody that's a part of the program. So you go in there, you see all the happy faces of just people that work at the school, the fans around here. It's just an awesome feeling to be just all the hard work to be paying off, and just seeing the results, and just the community being happy about it, the players being happy about the team, being happy with it, and just the entire school.
It's not a huge crowd tonight. They made a lot of noise when you guys ran off the field, didn't they?
Yes, sir.
People that are here, they always support, and they're always loud, and just the fact that we had the refs tell our band to stop playing, and just to calm our people down it's just awesome to know that it's just a little bit of an advantage for when we play at home.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.